met a man named Willie Brown yesterday.
Are you being serious?
I said, I don't know, man. I just got here.
What?
I said, I met a man named Willie Brown yesterday.
Yeah.
I said, I don't know, man. I just got here. Will E. Brown?
Yeah, what does that mean?
I don't know, man. I just got here.
I understand that you are saying this name that sounds like Will He Brown, but I don't even know what Will He Brown means. Is it a poop joke?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Hello.
Welcome to the Listenercast. I hope that makes it in.
I'll leave it.
Yeah.
I'll leave it. Just, okay, I'm Whitney.
Oh. I'm Ryan.
And this is the Listenercast. This is the late night Listenercast.
This is the Listenercast. I need a beer.
The bonus episode, we get really drunk.
Dude, bonus
we
episode.
Get hammered.
Bonus episode, we try and explain Stormlight.
While intoxicated?
While intoxicated.
That'd be pretty funny.
It'd be something.
There's this meme that I saw that was like me going to explain to my husband the entire plot of this book for an hour just to explain why this one line made me laugh.
Mm-hmm.
And I literally did that to my coworkers the other day, except it was me crying instead.
Oh.
But I literally but it was like, it's a good cry, and we'll get to that scene in part 4, so I'm not going to talk about what it was.
Right.
But I literally my coworker walked out, and I'm typing in a spreadsheet, and there's like tears on my face. And he's like, are you okay? And I paused my audiobook to be like, okay, so. And then explained way too much about Stormlight to this guy that does not care.
Yeah.
Just to explain to him why I was crying.
Mm-hmm.
And I try to do a really good, whenever I do things like that, I try to keep it as minimal as possible. But it was one of those moments where I was halfway in, and I was like, I've gone way further than I need to, and I'm not going to stop now.
Gotta go whole hog.
Yeah, I went whole hog.
All right. Anyway, I'm Ryan.
I'm Whitney. And this is the late night
listener cast.
Clearly.
And just by listening,
you two are a listener
on the listener cast.
Yes, sir. So yeah, clearly something is in the air.
Something is in the air.
And it's because we normally don't even record at this time of night, but such is life.
It's almost 9 o'clock.
Yeah, I go to bed at 11.
Oh, true. Same.
Yeah, so I don't even want to hear it. It's getting late. We're getting wild and crazy in here.
I'm so eepy. Oh.
I'm not eepy. I'm at that point of where I'm really hyped up.
Yeah.
When you give a kid too much sugar and then they crash.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to be really hyped up for the next however long this takes.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, probably by the end of it, you'll feel me start to
Ween.
off. Yeah. And then we're going to finish and I'm going to go.
You ever listen to Ween?
It's Ween. No.
I haven't either. I went to the Ren Fair one time. I was wearing my Jimmy shirt. You know, Jimmy. Jimmy is a frog from the Heathcliff comic strip. And it's just a picture of Jimmy. And it says Jimmy. And I had a guy stop me. He said, "Hey, man, can I take a picture of your shirt?" I was like, "Sure, yeah." He's like, "I'm a big Ween fan. Jimmy is just a thing with us Ween fans." And I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." So if you're a Ween fan and can explain what Jimmy is in Ween,
I don't know.
All I know is Ocean Man. So
yeah, I can't say that I know any other Ween songs. Whenever someone says Ween, there's this meme that went around in October of that pumpkin that was he had a big smile at one point, but then he started to decay, and so he just kind of looked like he was grimacing, and someone just put under "It's Ween" instead of it's Halloween.
Yeah.
So when someone says Ween, I definitely think of that. So that's
it's Ween.
That's what when you were do you like Ween? And I went, it's Wayne. It's because that's all yeah, that's it. Okay. We're going to get into part 3.
Yes, we are.
Of Rhythm of War.
Yes.
Okay. Ready?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. This is interlude 4. Vire.
Vire in Kolinar is keeping himself busy doing labor. He meets with Odium, who asks him to help bring Kaladin into the fold. They decide to make Kaladin see visions.
Can I be honest? I mean, like, I know why they renamed him.
Yeah.
But just I think Moash was fine.
Yeah.
They even said, like, 2 books ago that Moash was, like, a Parshendi listener name.
Yeah. Well, he calls him... Well, it says, like...
He refers to himself.
Moash felt a hint of old, painful emotions. Yeah, like, there's still Moash and everything.
And I mean, like, of course, everyone that knows
Vire
him...
is just, like, a title.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know.
Like Lady of Wishes.
I don't like it. Period.
I think it sounds cool.
I mean, like, I think it also sounds cool, but, like, as far as...
Vire.
I'm getting confused already, you know?
Vire. Is it
I have a note.
the one who silences or something? Is that what it means?
Don't ask me. I don't know anything. I have a note here.
Okay.
Vire is talking to Odium, I think. No. Who is he talking to in this chapter? One of the listeners.
He's talking to, like, one of the ones
Ken.
Yeah.
She says, you say you're unburdened, that you don't care anymore, but you keep hunting him, the Windrunner. At the mention of Kaladin, Moash felt a hint of old, painful emotions, though Odium quickly sucked them away. Kaladin is a friend, Moash said. It is important to me that he finds his freedom. Go your own way, Ken. If you become unchained in the future, seek me out. You are a capable warrior, and I would fight beside you. So we get a little glimpse of how when Moash is presented, Vire, whoever, is presented with a painful memory, how instantaneous
Odium takes it away.
Yeah. And also him still referring to Kaladin, like, as his friend.
Yeah.
And being like, I want him to, like, find his truth, you know?
He's kind of like... He's kind of a little loopy. Because he doesn't have any emotions, right? He's kind of like a Terminator at this at the moment. He's just like... He's like normal SpongeBob. Hi, how are you?
That's kind of funny. Yeah. But even at the end, like, Odium and Vire are talking about Kaladin again. And Odium says, I would claim this one as I have claimed you. And Vire would see him dead first, a mercy. Can you think of a way to hurt him? Odium asked. Drive him toward me. Isolate him. Take away his friends. He will soon be alone. Make him afraid. Make him dread. Break him. But yeah, and then they talk about how basically isolating him and showing him all these horrible things will make him feel bad. And at the very end of this chapter, it says, it will be a start. I can bring him to the brink, get him to step up to the ledge. Then what? Then we find a way to make him jump, Moash said softly. So call back to the honor chasm.
Yeah. I like
this is also foreshadowing.
For real. And I like how it says when like when they're talking about, like, oh, can you show him visions? And he's like, I don't have a connection to him. And he said, I haven't the connection to him. I see a way. There are holes in his soul. Someone could get in. Someone who knows him. Someone connected to him. Someone who feels as he does. He's like, I will do it. He's like, Kaladin has holes in his soul.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All
right. Interlude 5. Lift. I like that her little, like, chapter emblem is a bunch of food.
Cute.
Very cute.
Lift is busy stealing food and wonders why her awesomeness isn't working good. She saves a parrot and soon is captured by Maraise.
I like the interaction they have right at the beginning where she's talking about, or Wendell's talking about Gift liking her and like that he leaves things out for her on purpose.
Yeah.
And she says, I'm not supposed to be liked. I'm a shadow.
I'm a shadow.
A dangerous and unknown shadow, moving mysteriously from place to place, never seen, always feared.
Mm-hmm.
And Wendell's like, shadow. Yes, a starving shadow, all right.
Mm-hmm.
This tower, it's like a big old corpse, and I'm like blood sneaking around through its veins. She's just silly. I love her.
I see like her whole thing because she's like saying that and she's like, so hush, whiny spren. And she starts complaining. She's like, this is stupid. That's stupid. And
Because
it's just
she's
like
a kid.
But she's not just a kid anymore.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, she's like an early teenager.
Oh, yeah.
Who's getting into the angsty.
She's in her preteens.
She's in her, she's like 13, 14.
Yeah. She's like 12.
Yeah, she's starting like puberty and everything. It's just like,
everything's
oh,
stupid.
Yeah, this is when you start listening to
My Chemical Romance.
Fall Out Boy. This is when you like start just like, God, I hate my life.
Yeah.
Listen to MCR and welcoming in the new year. Have you seen that video?
Nope.
Oh.
Oh, it does talk about her and Wendell are talking about how she did actually see cultivation.
Yes.
So very interesting. And that's like, we can kind of extrapolate from that.
Yes.
That probably the fact that she can partly see into Shadesmar is because she's been touched by cultivation herself.
Yeah.
Yep. That's what I got.
She can like constantly see Wendell.
Right. And she also is like basically one leg in Shadesmar at all times.
Yeah.
Yep.
And her whole like boon was like she didn't want to change.
Mm-hmm. She wanted to stay like young and forever. And
because
now she's changing.
What if her mother saw her?
Yeah, no, I don't want to talk about that. That stuff makes me cry.
that part got me. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Lift.
Doesn't want to change in case her mom comes back and she doesn't recognize her.
She meets a funny bird.
Yeah.
She meets a real funny bird and then meets a not as funny bird. And then Mraize captures her. Little Radiant. I'll admit, I've always wanted an excuse to hunt you. I don't like Mraize as a character. I find him boring.
That's fair.
Ooh, I'm suave and mysterious, and I have scars on my face. Ooh, I'm a hunter. Ooh, I know secrets, and I'm part of the Ghost Bloods. Shut up, idiot. God.
I think he's fine.
He's fine. He's another Saturday morning cartoon villain that I just don't like.
That's okay. All right. Move on to Interlude 6. A boon and a curse.
Taravangian meets with Odium and manages to trick him into showing possible futures. In doing so, he sees that Odium too is unable to see anybody around Renarin and plans to use this to his advantage.
I do have 2 notes. I guess really the point of my 2 notes is, like you said, they wanted Dalinar for the war.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, that did not work out. But also, Taravangian is able to trick
Odium.
Yeah.
On a dumb day.
When he's stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's Renarin. Renarin is...
Yeah. Something's up with Renarin.
He's a little weirdo.
And he says right here, Zeth, the sword. Odium feared the sword. Mm-hmm. But I don't think Taravangian is really as stupid. He said, except Zeth was in Urithiru. Why was his name being consumed by the scar that represented Renarin? It didn't make any sense. Could Taravangian have misunderstood? Took him a painfully long time to see the obvious answer. Zeth was here, in the army, and near Dalinar, who is in turn near Renarin.
Yeah.
Dalinar must have brought Zeth in secret. Which, I mean, it does say it took him a terribly long time.
To figure it out.
So maybe, maybe he is,
It's quick to us.
Yeah.
It's quick to us because
Yeah.
we're reading it, but
Right.
probably in his time it was a much longer thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Part 3, Songs of Home, Kaladin, Navani, Dalinar, Venli, Eshonai, Jasnah, Renarin. Chapter 44, Tinder Waiting for the Spark.
Kaladin, along with an unconscious Teft and Syl, avoid search parties and the pursuer. They find themselves in a closed-off room, and he collapses into sleep.
Can I say something completely unrelated?
Sure.
I just realized the app Tinder, why it is named that.
Wait, what?
I just realized why the app Tinder is called that. Tinder Waiting for the Spark.
Yeah.
It's a dating app. Like there'd be sparks when you meet somebody, like Tinder. That's all.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I just got that too.
That's all. I literally just got it as I was reading that. I was like, wow. This has clicked after however many years that app has been out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's all.
All right.
I have no notes for this chapter.
I don't either. It's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool.
And I'm going to get this out of the way now because it's been said to death. This is just fantasy Die Hard from here on, folks. It's just fantasy Die Hard.
Is that a thing that's been said?
Yes.
Okay. I've never seen Die Hard, so.
Dude, it's literally Kaladin is, I think his name's John McClane. He's in a tower being invaded, and he's sneaking around, and he can't really talk to people on the outside, but he can talk to the sibling and the Navani who are in the inside, and they're like working together against the enemy. It's just fantasy Die Hard.
Interesting. I've never seen Die Hard, so I can't confirm nor deny these claims.
Yippee-ki-yay.
Yippee-ki-yay. I do know a song called that.
Do they say a naughty word after that?
Yes.
That's from Die Hard.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That song is by the Tony Danza Tap Dance Extravaganza.
That's awesome.
They are one of the best mathcore bands of all time.
Got a lot of this nerd. Mathcore. I like to sit and put on my headphones and listen to equations and have them solved to me.
I love weird time signatures.
Yeah, this one's in 4/4, but then it transitions into 7/7, and it's actually pretty cool if you like pay attention to stuff like that.
I just want to say, I think I'm qualified because I wrote a song in 13/8 and it charted on Billboard.
I wrote a song at 14/8 and 13/8 and it charted on Billboard.
So I'm qualified to speak on this. Okay, chapter 45.
I just like it's.
I know you're making
just,
fun of me. It's fine.
It's fine, but not actually. It is cool. As a non-music person who's surrounded by musical people, I do appreciate what you do.
I like to make weird music.
Mm-hmm. Especially when it's a 13/8.
Okay, chapter 45. A bold heart, a keen and crafty mind.
It's a flashback.
Eshonai
is out exploring and manages to find humans. Venli is with her mother practicing the songs. She tells her she wishes to find warrior form or war form. And they go to get permission from the five. They approach but are interrupted by Eshonai's discovery. I love that these flashbacks are not just Venli flashbacks. They're not just Eshonai flashbacks. We typically get both of them in here.
Yeah, I do like that part as well.
And
Very
you also
cool.
see them.
Yes.
In the little thing.
In the little what?
In their symbol.
Oh, really?
It's both of them, right?
Oh, I guess it is. That's so cute.
Because there's Eshonai and then there's Venli with timber.
Yeah, Eshonai with the shard blade and then cute. Okay. I don't have any notes for that chapter, however.
I don't either, but I really like it just because we get some more information on like listener culture.
Yes.
We also get to see Jack Slim.
Yeah, and we learn how like Parshendi history pretty much is all oral history, which is really interesting.
And her job is like she's the keeper of songs, and she has to like memorize all the songs.
I think that's
and they
really
only
cool.
have like 2 forms.
Yes.
They have work form and
mate form. Yeah.
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 Cool.
All right. Chapter 46, The Weight of the Tower.
Navani goes to Raboniel and says she will work with her. She learns that soulcasters are spren, and that Raboniel wishes to end the war by collaborating with humans. Navani then goes to her scholars, tells them that they are not resisting, and to work on sketches and such. Kaladin has a horrible nightmare and awakes to find Syl. She says that she knows about the sibling, but not much else.
I like that we get kind of an immediate answer to probably a bunch of questions in Navani's mind right off the bat here.
And Raboniel's just like, go on to what you were talking about.
Yeah, so Raboniel, because like Navani's like, oh, you know more about fabrials than I assumed. Raboniel says, I'm a quick learner. In the past, my kind has found it difficult to persuade Spren to manifest themselves in the physical realm as devices. It seems void Spren are not as naturally self-sacrificing as those of honor or cultivation. Navani blinked as the implications of that sank in. Suddenly, a dozen loose threads in her mind tied together, forming a tapestry, an explanation. That was why the fabrials of the tower, the pumps, the climbing mechanisms didn't have gemstones with captive Spren. Storms. That was the answer to the soul casting devices. Spren burst around her in a ring of blue smoke. Soulcasters didn't hold Spren because they were Spren, manifesting in the physical realm like shard blades. Spren became metal on this side. Somehow, the ancient Spren had been coaxed into manifesting as soulcasters instead of blades. Sorry, the sentence Spren became metal on this side just gave me so many implications for Mistborn as well.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm going to put I'm going to think about that later.
Okay.
But yeah, I just, like, I talked about in the last part how she's like really going in on her toes right now.
I know. I
kitty cat
just flicked her foot and she's just like, what?
She's like, huh? Yeah, I talked about in the last episode that we kind of understood from an interaction with Raboniel and Venli as to why the tower didn't work properly.
Yeah.
And this is where Navani gets that understanding where she's like, oh my God. There it is.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all I got in that chapter.
Yeah. I just love the implications and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just looking, seeing.
If you have any notes. I'm just going to sit here and
So kind of immediately, Cal has a nightmare with Moash in it.
Yeah. Right after Moash just had that conversation with Odium.
So, man.
Working quick on that front.
Yeah. Very, very quick, actually. Yeah. Yeah. No, yeah. That's all I got.
Okay. All right. Chapter 47, A Cage Forged of Spirits.
Dalinar and the Mink discuss the enemy's plans and believe Taravangian is isolating them as well as the tower. Soon, Nail appears and Dalinar forms a connection with him, allowing him to see the Oath Pact and flashes from the past.
Truthfully? I have no notes.
You have no notes? Okay, so let me get to where the section is. I didn't mark it because I'm a fool.
That's okay.
When he makes a connection with Nail and he sees the Oath Pact.
Oh, yeah, that does.
Yeah, he said, stepped forward, walking among his stunned bodyguards, noting 8 lines of light extending from Nail into the distance. I see the Oath Pact, I think, the thing that bound them together and made them capable of holding the enemy in damnation. A cage, forged of their spirits, the Stormfather said in his mind. It was broken even before Jezreel's death. They shattered it by what they did long ago. No, only one line of it is completely broken. The rest are there, but weak, impotent. Except one, still vibrant. So, one thing that I've heard is that Tong did not break.
Right.
But he obviously came back to Roshar from Braze, from the animation.
Yeah, but the last Desolation, he was the only one that didn't return.
Yeah.
he was still there.
Yeah, he was still there.
On Roshar.
The one that's still burning strong is Taln.
Yes.
That should indicate that the oath he did not break, I feel like.
Yeah.
I feel like there was something else that happened, probably because of loopholes within the Oath Pact.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Talon has broken the Oath Pact still, even though he's back on Roshar and everything. I think something happened which caused him to return, but I don't think Talon broke.
I think that's a fair point.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have enough information to like back you up on that, but
Yeah.
I think that's a good theory for sure.
Yeah. And I just find it interesting because he sees the 8, should be 9. One's
Right.
missing because Jezreel is
dead.
Man.
Yeah.
Need more information.
Hopefully we get some.
Hopefully we get
soon.
some. Good Lord. Please.
Brandon.
I'm
begging. All right. You ready to move on?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Chapter 48, Scent of Death, Scent of Life.
Eshonai spends time trying to communicate with the humans. She answers the questions and shows them a chasm fiend. There's some miscommunication, and they believe the listeners worship the creatures. Later on, she talks with Gavilar, and he gets excited when he learns the listeners have stories of radiance.
Yeah, the only thing I have marked in here is when Eshonai's talking to one of the humans, one of the attendants. I think it's I don't remember her name. It's something with an A. We don't even know for sure in this chapter yet, though. It just says the attendant.
Exendwith?
Yeah, Exendwith.
Yeah.
She asks Eshonai what she sees when she looks at the Spren.
Mm-hmm.
And Eshonai says, I see Spren. And she's like, yeah, but what do they look like? And Eshonai says, long white lines pointing at the Windspren. Holes. Small holes, is there a word? Pinpricks, perhaps? Pinpricks in sky, Eshonai said, and tails very long.
Mm-hmm.
Curious, the woman said. It is different. Different, Eshonai said. We see different? Yes, the woman said. You seem to see the reality of the Spren, or closer to it. Tell me, we have stories among the humans of Windspren that act like people, taking different shapes, playing tricks. Have you ever seen one like that? And she does end up saying, like, yes, I have seen one that, like, has acted like a human, but, like, it doesn't talk. But yeah, it's really interesting that the listeners see the Spren to, like, their more actualized selves, and humans see them differently.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was just kind of interesting.
Yes.
I mean, humans don't belong there, so
no.
It makes sense that they do see like a more actualized version. But I just thought it was really interesting.
Yeah, and the whole thing with the Axendwith, that's like her.
Yeah,
I think that's her name.
No, you're right. That is her name.
She from what she'll do later on in this part, we know she knows more than what's going on.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. Do you have any other notes?
I don't. You actually kind of hit what I was going to talk about.
Really?
So yeah, it's all good.
I'd be doing that.
Yeah, no, it's all good. I like hearing you talk, Whitney, so I don't mind.
Oh, thanks, friend. It's very nice of you to say.
Yes, you are my friend, Whitney.
Yay. Yippee. Wahoo. Okay. Chapter 49, Soul of Discovery.
The sibling tells Navani how they were able to hide and how Raboniel isn't aware of her. They don't want to be bonded with a human because she hates humans. They tell her that humans bound Ba Edo Mishram I'm just going to talk normal. Okay. That when humans bound Ba Edo Mishram and injured them, the siblings also tells her that Lift and Kaladin are still awake. Kaladin goes and gets some supplies from the Devotary of Mercy and then communicates with Navani through the sibling. Navani instructs him to find out how they're using the Oath Gate to work. I like that we're getting this information about Ba Edo Mishram.
Mm-hmm.
We know it was an unmade. It's no longer there.
Yes.
Yes. And when something happened when she was bound away, something happened to the sibling.
Yeah.
I feel like I can't talk about that until later on in the book,
Yeah.
I think, because I have a theory.
Okay, let's wait.
Yeah.
Let's wait. I thought it was really interesting that when they were talking about, like, Navani was like, how'd you contact me? Because obviously his friend cannot write, does not have hands.
Mm-hmm.
She said, I just have helpers. There is an insane woman locked in the monastery who I contacted. Those isolated, those with permeable souls respond better to Spren sometimes. This one, however, only wrote down everything I said, never responding. I had David bring her a span read and I communicated through her. So I think that just was really interesting that people who are insane or have
Mm-hmm.
issues with their mind, whatever the most proper way to say that is, are more permeable.
Not fully aware.
Yeah, are more permeable to Spren.
Yeah.
It was really interesting.
Mm-hmm. It is very interesting. And that same woman, we got an indication of her when Kaladin and Teft went to go find Norrell.
Oh, did they run into her?
Yeah, they saw that she was writing words with poopy on the wall.
Oh, gross. But, I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Okay.
I like that Navani and Kaladin are talking now, though.
Yeah, we never get that many Navani Kaladin interactions.
No. And we get a lot of this book,
Mm-hmm.
which is nice. It's not in person, though. Isn't that funny?
Oh, it's not in person. Yeah, it is interesting that they're they are communicating through Spren, the tower.
Yeah, the what do you call it? The
sibling.
The sibling. Yeah,
the strata.
The strata.
Yeah,
the strata.
The strata.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is like a really cool way of being able to communicate as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like being able, both of you can just put your hand up against the wall and then suddenly you can hear them like they're standing right next to you.
Yeah.
And you can even like whisper, you can change like the volume of your voice and it comes through in that way as well.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
Does... Oh, and it says like, I like the siblings reason for like, oh, I understand why I can see lift. She was made with strange light and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And that a light differently from others. She was made by my mother for this purpose. But I've lost track of her. A young woman, an edge dancer. And then she says, but there's a man. He must be of the fourth ideal, but he has no armor. So maybe of the third, but close to the fourth?
Mm-hmm.
Because we know he's close.
Yeah.
He almost said the words like a year ago.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's right there. He's so close.
I don't know if we will ever get there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure that we will. Do you have any other notes?
No. I was looking for something. I should have marked it down, but it's when she's talking about what she can see and everything.
The sibling?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's in that chapter.
You don't think so?
I mean, it might be, but I don't know. I don't have it marked down.
All right.
Because I mean, like, she says she can see, like, she can't see as much as she can just, like, feel.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Anyway. We'll go to chapter 50.
Queen.
Whitney.
Mm-hmm.
The summary is only 3 words.
Okay.
Jasnah decimates Urithiru.
Yeah. This is one of my favorite Jasnah moments, probably.
I would have to agree.
There is a moment where Wit does say to Dalinar, like, watch out for the High Princes. They're up to something funky.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get this whole thing with Jasnah and Wit and Ruthar.
Mhm.
And I love that Wit comes in and starts insulting Ruthar, and she just keeps going harsher. And then he challenges her, and then he's like, wait, I will not challenge a woman. And she, hold on, I have it marked right here. I refuse this, he said, tossing his sword aside. I will not face a woman in combat. It is demeaning. And so, Jasnah stabbed him straight through the throat. This lunge was better than the previous one, but it was not her skill that won the fight. It was the fact that Ruthar underestimated how far she would go. Indeed, Ruthar's eyes bulged as shock spren scattered around him as yellow glass. He stumbled back, gushing lifeblood across his beautiful doublet. And then she calls in Renarin immediately to come in and heal him. Which means she planned this.
Yeah.
God, I love her.
Mm-hmm.
That's my wife right there.
Renarin even apologizes to Dalinar. He's like, I'm sorry, I thought she told you.
Yeah. Because Dalinar is like, whoa!
Yeah. Whoa, dude.
What is going on?
Man. It's great. I love this. And you learn Ruthar really is a bad guy.
Yeah, he sucks.
And he went behind his back because what was his son's name? Was it?
Let's see. It's probably on one of these pages right here. I will pass to your eldest son who that does not say his name though. But his eldest son.
Yeah, he was because we first met his son with Adolin in Words of Radiance.
Was he one of the ones that fought Adolin in the duel?
Yes. I'm pretty sure.
Gosh, I wish I could find his name on one of these pages.
I know. There's so many words on a page.
How dare they? How dare you? Yeah, no, I can't. I cannot find it. It just says your eldest son. We are in exile. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I don't know. I got nothing. I don't want to take up too much time just going through pages and reading. Okay.
Yes.
Do you have any notes or do you want to go ahead and move on?
Yeah, no, we can go ahead and yeah. I don't know. I like that the mink is very satisfied with what is happening.
Oh, yeah. The mink is so funny. Okay. Chapter 51, To Sing Hopeless Songs.
Venli meets with Dull, who reels...
What?
Who tells her... It's supposed to say tells her they've been setting aside supplies for their group. The idea of joining the humans is brought up, but doesn't really go anywhere. Venli then tells Timber she will speak more of her past.
Let's see what notes I have. If I have none. This is 3 pages.
Yeah, so Venli's whole group is kind of still working against the greater fused.
Yeah, I was about to say, have we talked about how she's all Viva la Resistance?
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
We did.
I also stumbled through that so hard just now. Everyone ignore me.
Yeah, she's been getting her own singers, listeners, and bringing her to her side that don't agree with the fused and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I was wasn't sure if we had talked about that. I know we didn't really talk about it at all in the last episode.
Yeah.
Did we talk about it in the first episode?
Yeah, we did.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. And I like how this chapter ends and it says, the time to share with them, however, was long overdue. The worst of it began when the humans visit us the second time. And then chapter 52 is when the humans visited the second time.
Yes. All right. Chapter 52, A Path Towards Saving. Oh.
Venli is with her mother, who has been experiencing Alzheimer-like symptoms. The humans visit, and a woman named Axindwith approaches Venli and gives her a gemstone. She instructs her to go out in the storm with it and insinuates that it will lead to forms of power.
Yes. The only thing that I have marked in this chapter is actually at the very end when Axendweth does give her the gemstone.
Yeah.
It says it's blood red.
Yes.
So do you think, I mean, I don't know. What do you think was in the stone that made it what it is? Like made them have war form and storm form and all this other stuff again?
Well, we know what's in the stone, Whitney.
Yeah. What is it?
Ulam.
Oh. How'd they get him? That's the question.
So Axendweth is a pretty interesting character.
Mm-hmm.
When she says, because the woman spoke the words without a rhythm, yes, but they were perfectly understandable. How? Oh, I've always been good with languages, the female said. My name is Axendweth. Though few here know me by that name, I give it to you. I'm going to also say this about this description about Axendweth. She was she was the one with the rings on her exposed hands.
Mm-hmm.
Some kind of surgeon, Finley had been told. She didn't seem important. Most everyone ignored her. She was basically one of the servants. So you brought up Mistborn earlier.
Yeah. You think she's a Mistborn character? Or you know she is?
I believe she is a Terrace woman.
Okay.
And these are her metal mines.
Yeah, I haven't read Mistborn in so long that I don't really remember that well enough.
Well, Terrace people wear a bunch of rings and stuff, and like she says she's really good with languages and everything.
She's definitely like an off-worlder.
Yeah, and so I have a feeling, and she gives Venli this funny stone, and also maybe I did look it up, and other people are just like, yeah, we're pretty sure she's a Terrace woman.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. I do refer to the Copper Mind every now and then.
Oh, absolutely. Because I was just like, what's up with her? She is wearing rings. The rings of power. She's actually from Lord of the Rings.
What?
Yeah.
How do we get here? Do you have any other notes?
No. I feel like she is with maybe the Ghost Bloods?
I mean, she's with, like, Gavilar in them, though.
She is.
So she could have been in that original, like, Sons of Honor. Yeah, so I would think that she was maybe with them, like that original, like, more extremist group that Gavilar was a part of.
Yeah. True.
That's my theory.
But do they work with off-worlders? So I don't know. My vote, I think
they
she's
work with the Heralds.
Yeah, but they're not off-worlders.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That there's like room for non-Alethi traditional people.
I think she's with the Ghost Bloods.
Okay.
I think.
All right. Chapter 53, Compassion.
Venli learns Kaladin is awake and convinces Leshwi to protect his family. Let's go, Venli.
Let's go, Venli.
Oh,
she's in her redemption arc.
She is. She really is. I do love that she is making this decision to do defiance in a very non-defiant way. She's doing things that don't seem out of the ordinary because, like, there's even Leshwi says, like, oh, you like have compassion and like
you care about these humans,
which
for some
is
reason.
something like an attribute that I appreciate, but you should be careful of.
Yes.
I just love that she's like, because Timber wants to save these people.
Yes.
And she's like, I kind of want to save these people too. They're innocent, you know? And I like it a lot. I love the Venli redemption.
I do too. I think it's good.
Because at the end of the day, all of this is kind of her fault.
Yeah. High key. I was going to say low key.
Yeah.
But I was like, no, high key. She did do this.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Do you have any other
No,
notes?
that's really it. I also just love Leshwi. I like Leshwi a lot just because she is just more. I mean, she's not like one of the insane fused or anything,
Mm-hmm.
but like her whole demeanor and honor, and we talked about it with her and Kaladin and everything. But even now with Venli, she's just like, you're different, and I know I'm different from the rest, and so they have like this kind of bond and everything. Even though Leshwi does see Venli as lesser still,
Right.
so yeah.
All right. Chapter 54, The Future Become Dust. You okay over there?
My dude autocorrected, and it's
Did its thing today.
yeah. So instead of Dalinar, it says Galindo. I don't know what Galindo means.
All right.
If it's a bad word, I'm sorry. Galindo, Dalinar, watches Gavinor practice swords, pondering Jasnah's vision to disband the monarchy. Later, at the Windrunner stew, Dalinar is approached by Renarin, who shows him his vision. Afterwards, Renarin asks Dalinar about people bonding corrupted Spren. Dalinar says that he will think about it.
I really like the visual of Renarin showing Dalinar the vision.
Oh, like the pained glass stuff? Yeah.
So it says stained glass spread out around him, engulfing the landscape, a phantom light shimmering and glowing from behind in the darkness. As he walked, each of his footsteps made the ground pulse red, light shining up through the cracks. His father wouldn't be able to see what he did, but hopefully Renarin could describe it properly. Renarin says, I see you in the vision. You're in a lot of them. In this one, you stand tall, formed as if from stained glass, and you wear shard plate, dark white shard plate, though you are pierced with a black arrow. Dalinar asked, do you know what it means? Renarin says, I think it might be a symbol of you, who you were, who you become. The more important part is the enemy. He makes up the bulk of this image, a window of yellow-white light breaking into smaller and smaller pieces, like infinity. He is like the Sun Father. He controls and dominates everything. And although your figure raises a sword high, it's facing the wrong direction. You're fighting and you're fighting, but not him. I think I understand the meaning. You want a deal. You want a contest of champions. But you're going to keep fighting, and fighting distractions, because would the enemy agree to a contest that he can theoretically lose? So anyways, the visual is really cool.
No.
But then, yeah, obviously there's the implication of, Odium is everywhere and he is just constantly distracting you because, in theory, we can assume his champion is just like not ready, or that Dalinar really could beat Odium. I feel like there's a lot of different interpretations of like why he could be delaying it, I suppose.
Yeah. I'm always curious about like you were pierced with a black arrow. Yeah,
that imagery is really cool, but I have a hard time finding a meaning in that specifically. And I love to dissect stuff, and I'm sitting here, I'm trying to think about it, and I just don't have anything.
Shard plate, stark white shard plate, though you are pierced with a black arrow. The black arrow. So I feel like the black arrow could be like, if he's surrounded by Odium, do you think it is like Odium, like who has shot him with the arrow and everything? And he's pierced. He's not a whole.
Right. Well, so that's why it does, like Renarin says, I think it could be a symbol of you, who you were and who you become.
Oh, the black arrow is like a black thorn.
Yeah. That could be quite literal in that sense.
Oh, very, very literal, actually.
Yeah.
I don't know. Very cool. Maybe we'll learn more about that.
Maybe we will.
Yeah.
Maybe we won't.
Maybe we won't. I'm gonna go back here
Okay.
Let's see. It's when Dalinar goes to meet with Renarin at the Windrunner stew night.
Mhm.
I'll just jump right here. They think I've come to approve of the tradition, Dalinar realized. They seem to have been waiting for it. Judging by how eagerly one of the Windrunner squires brought him a bowl, Dalinar accepted the food and took a bite, then nodded approvingly. That inspired applause. After that, there was nothing to do but settle down and keep eating, indicating that the rest of them could go on with their ritual. The respect that Dalinar brings, and because he mentioned that he considered stopping the tradition
Yeah.
at one point, and that probably like got word of just like, you know, they take supplies from, you know, the war to
Mhm.
do this stew every night because it is a tradition. And Dalinar does the like thing, and he realizes like, this is important. I need to show that I approve of it.
Yeah.
Dalinar's just that guy, and everybody kind of knows he's that guy.
Yeah.
So
It means a lot that, like, he obviously went to that to just talk to Renarin. His
Right.
intention was not to show that he accepted the tradition, even though, like, he kind of did when he just let them keep doing it.
mhm.
But for him to show up in the way that he did was important to the men.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I love secret horn eater recipe. Apparently, it only has 2 lines of instructions. Take everything you have and put them in pot. Don't let anyone airsick touch seasonings.
I miss you, Rock. It's only
I
been
miss you,
a
Rock.
part and a half, but I miss
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. That's all I got, Whit.
All right, well, let's move on to chapter 55.
Also, we get to hear Gliss talk in this, but I mean, like, I don't really have anything to say about that. But that's
Mhm.
like the first time we've heard Gliss, I think.
Yeah, because he has been pretty hidden consistently.
Yeah.
So. All right, chapter 55, Kinship with the Open Sky.
Kaladin leaves Dabid to take care of Teft while he goes to investigate the Oath Gates. Using adhesion to sneak around, he surmised that the enemy is using span reeds and plans to steal them.
That's true.
Yep. I don't have anything for this chapter.
I don't have anything either. I think you hit
I think
all
it's
the
really cool
plot
that
points.
he's using like brush handles to like use as handholds because he can't stick with his own like body.
Yeah, it's interesting that much of the power works.
Yeah.
Like it's been really interesting to see, like, what am I trying to say? Like the levels, I guess, of which the powers work as the sibling is like infected or being unmade, as they would say.
Yeah.
It's really interesting.
It is.
Yeah.
Because it seems like Kaladin's earliest powers are working.
Oh yeah, I guess like the adhesion.
And then he well, we'll see. Hold on.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Okay. Chapter 56, Nodes.
Venli is in charge of the unconscious Radiance and decides to bring Liren into the fold. She then accidentally gives a clue onto where the next node will be.
Well, she like starts thinking about it, and I think they were already kind of halfway there on where they thought it would be, and I think she just kind of confirmed it for them.
Yeah.
Because like her thought was also their thought. But the only thing I have marked here is that there is a spren called Secret Spren. It says, why not use Secret Spren? She asks. They can find Fabrials as easy as they find Radiance, can't they?
Oh, are those like the screamers that we saw in Kolinar and Oathbringer?
Maybe.
I feel like that's what it would be, right? Because like they like immediately were attracted to like any Fabrial being used in Kolinar.
Yeah, there's also a couple lines down. It says, have you seen the Chaos Spren?
Ugh, the Chaos Spren.
Those types of Void Spren, normally invisible to anyone but the ones they appeared to, left sparks in the air as if now responding to the dampening field. In this place, even someone who couldn't look into Shadesmar could know whether or not they're being watched. And I think that's the, oh, I don't know if this is in this part, so I actually don't want to bring that up.
Okay.
Well, if we get there, we'll get there. But yeah, I guess maybe the secret Spren, but I don't know, they're secret. Why would they come screaming at you? Like, I think that they're a type of Void Spren.
Because they have to alert the fuse and everything.
Oh, I guess that's true.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Good theory. But that's the only note that I have in this chapter.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Chapter 57, Child of Odium.
Flashback. Dalinar tells Eshonai to beware his brother and his people. Venli goes into the storm and releases Ulam, and he goes into her gem heart.
Yeah. I did mark where she's talking to the Stormfather, Venli is. He says, you wish to take this step, a not voice vibrating through her like a rhythm. This was him, the Spren of High Storms, the Rider of Storms. The songs called him a traitor. He says, you have spent so long as children of no god, the rhythm said to her. You would make this choice for all of your people? Venli felt both a thrill and a terror at those words. So there was something in the gemstone. My people need forms, she shouted up towards the vast entity. This is more than forms. This power changes mortals. Power? She says, you served our enemies, she called the sky. How can I trust what you say? And he says, yet you trust the gift of one of those enemies? Regardless, I serve no one. Not man or singer. I simply am. Farewell, child of the plains. Child of Odium.
It is very interesting that Venli got to meet the Stormfather before any of our other main characters.
Yeah, and I know I made this note in particular, and now I can't remember who, but someone else was referred to as the Child of Odium.
Child of Odium.
Wasn't it like Dalinar or something?
Was he?
There was at one point where someone recently, like in the last book, probably called him Child of not him, but someone else was referred to as the Child of Odium.
Did Odium call Dalinar my child?
No.
Is that what it? Okay.
I think it specifically was Child of Odium.
Okay.
From like another being, but I can't remember properly. And
Help us remember, guys.
Yeah, I should have looked it up, but I forgot that I made that note.
Yeah.
But something else of note is whenever Venli comes back in from the storm and she's talking to Eshonai and Thud, Eshonai says, Venli, your words, where are their rhythms?
Mm-hmm.
Venli paused and then, as if it were a struggle, began humming to amusement, but it took her a few tries. And she says, don't be silly. You just weren't listening. And I just thought that was really interesting.
Yeah.
That she
I took note of that as well.
Yeah, she came out of the storm and then wasn't speaking in rhythms anymore.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, and that's definitely because, like, she's taken Ulam into her gem heart. And Ulam is of Odium, but
Odium...
But Ulam acts like a human.
Yeah, but Odium still follows, like, the rhythms and stuff. Like, it hasn't changed anything else previously. You know what I mean? Or not, like, previously, because this is, like, the most previous we can get. But, like, with the current Parshendi listener fuse situation, none of them have ever had issues with their rhythms. They have rhythms of Odium, but they don't have nothing at all.
Yeah.
You know?
So, like, the whole thing with, like, fused and singers is, like, they don't sing the old rhythms?
Yeah, like Venli
Maybe it's, like, that in-between where she doesn't know the new rhythms to sing?
But when she comes out in the new form, she has it immediately. So I don't know why this one interaction would have just, like, made her cut off entirely.
Yeah.
It's really weird.
It is. I agree.
That's all I got.
Yeah. I don't know. Who knows?
Who knows? All right, chapter 58, Span reads.
Kaladin steals the span reeds, and the sibling informs him the enemy has found the node and he needs to save them.
No notes.
No, yeah, this is where he does use his the other thing, like the hybrid lash. Is it called a half lashing? Where like he brings something, he attracts something to something else.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what the full
I'm pretty
point
sure
is.
that happens in here. Yeah, I don't have anything though. So, yeah. His full gravitational lashing just is not working. Which is like his later stuff.
Not working at all. All right. Chapter 59, The Lattice of a Growing Crystal.
Kaladin makes it to an open air tunnel and finds the node. He gets the pursuer to follow him and manages to trap him in a room, thanks to the sibling. He then goes and destroys the node.
I think it's really funny
That he
just traps him in a room.
Yeah. And he can like hear him screaming and everything.
Oh my god, it's like if you like locked your sibling in a closet when you were kids.
Let me out.
That happened to my sister.
Really?
Not by me. By like our cousin.
Uh-huh.
Our one of our cousins locked my sister in a closet at my grandma's house. Like she's like traumatized. She's like super claustrophobic because of it now.
Really?
Yeah. It like traumatized her that bad as a kid.
That happens.
But when this happened in the book, I was like, oh my god, it's like if you just like shut your annoying sibling into a room and locked him in there.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I thought of. And now you said in the last episode that he's like a Saturday morning cartoon. So now it's even funnier in my head. Oh my god. Anyways.
Because he is.
He is. Something that the pursuer says to Kaladin is, no one has ever defeated me twice, but if you somehow manage such a feat, I would keep coming. We are no longer confined to Braze at the end of the war, and I am immortal. I can follow you forever. I am the Spren of Vengeance. I think it's really interesting that he refers to himself as a Spren.
Yeah.
That was something that I was like, huh.
Yeah. I am the Spren of Vengeance.
So are fused Spren? Are fused Spren?
They're similar because they keep coming back.
Right.
And they can't truly be killed like Spren.
Right.
So, no, but close.
Pretty close.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
We can move on from that. Do you have any notes for this chapter? It is like a lot of action. So
yeah. And he does run into Raboniel.
Mm.
And she says some cool things, but nah, nothing I care to speak on.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Chapter 60, SI.
Venli goes to see R'lain and promises to get him help. She then goes and finds Raboniel, making a deal with Meraise, and gets permission for Meraise to come into her care.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
This is where Lift shows up again.
Mm-hmm.
Says the lead human whipped off the cloth, revealing a small teenage human girl in a box with bars on the sides. The dirty creature growled as she huddled in the center, shadowed. The man gestured dramatically, then bowed and began to walk away. Human, Raboniel said, I did not dismiss you. What is this? I need no slaves. This is no slave, the man said, but if your master does happen to ever locate cultivation, suggest that he ask her precisely why she made an edge dancer who was fueled by lifelight and not by stormlight.
Mm-hmm.
So, there's the answer on why Lift is like that. I mean, like, we knew that
cultivation did something.
Right, but now we know that she uses lifelight instead of stormlight.
Yeah.
Which I guess also explains away her needing to eat to use her powers.
Mm-hmm.
Because food gives you life.
Yes.
Wow.
Beginning of this chapter,
mm-hmm.
on like the top text, it says, who is this person? You use no title, so I assume they are not effused. Who then is L?
Who is L?
Who is Al?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
And this is from Rhythm of War. Now
Undertext.
Yeah, the post chapter, pre-chapter, not post chapter, pre-chapter little tidbits that we get.
Mm-hmm. Who is Al?
I don't know.
Well, he's busy fighting Light Yagami. I do know that.
No, Jesus Christ. Not the Death Note reference. I do love this illustration we get on the next chapter.
Oh, yeah?
Let me make sure. I feel like I got ahead of an accident.
So... we didn't really talk about it, but like... Venli finds Relaine.
Yes.
Relaine sees Venli.
Has that happened now?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
We're chapter 60, SI.
Oh, that's the chapter. Oh, did you say that in the summary? Did I just like miss that entirely?
Yeah.
Oh, God. My bad.
What'd you read?
Still the same chapter. I guess I didn't hear you say that.
Yeah.
I mean, I read the chapter, but I forgot that
Venli
happened.
goes and sees Relaine and promises to get him some help.
Yeah.
Okay. They're on opposite sides.
Mm-hmm.
But they're like the last listeners.
Yeah, they're the last of their species.
Mm-hmm.
They have to repopulate.
No. No.
No. But yeah, I really like this illustration because you can kind of see the
carapace.
Yeah, of the listeners.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be, man, if I didn't have my back done, that'd be a really cool tattoo. Anyways. All right. Chapter 61.
Yeah.
Oil and Water.
Navani thanks Kaladin for helping the siblings. She arranges for Tomor to leave his funny glove in a place Kaladin can get it. Later, Raboniel takes Navani and shows her singers trying to breach the shield, and Navani is displeased when she sees Elokar's blade. She then goes to show Navani a tower light sphere and instructs her to study more into the light.
Pause. Are you southern enough that you say oil?
Oil?
Yeah, do you say oil?
Every now and then.
Get this guy. Anyways, that's all. I just thought about it after I read
Why did I say oil?
No, I read Oil and Water out loud and I was like...
You know what I do like to say?
What?
I do like to say jury.
Say it again?
And jury.
Jewelry.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I do say jury. That's just a fun one to say.
All right. Okay, so let's talk about this chapter. I don't have any notes in particular.
I do like Navani's whole emulsifier bit.
Yeah.
With the oil and water.
Mm-hmm.
It's like explaining they're not opposites. They can be mixed.
Right.
You just need an emulsifier, which is... Remember that. Remember that later on. Just got to find the emulsifier.
Keep that one locked away in your brain.
This is a special tool that we'll use later.
Exactly. Exactly. But yeah, is this, let's see. It's really interesting how, I mean, like, Navani is being forced to learn about these things.
Yeah, but she's not that mad about it because she's learning so much.
She is, and that's what, like, when they start talking about light, she's like, oh, let me start from the beginning, and just starts with like the basics of light and stormlight and how it works, and then she works her way into further stuff. And
Raboniel is also learning, I think, equally as much from Navani.
Yeah.
Their relationship in this book is something that I like a lot, because at the end of the day, they are enemies, but they respect each other, I feel like.
And they work together really well.
Really well, right?
Yeah. It's like, and I think it is, like you said, it is definitely like a mutual respect thing, because they both recognize like, oh, this is someone very intelligent.
Yes.
And we can get more out of working with each other than me, like Raboniel just like killing Navani or something.
Because humans got sent back to like the Stone Age at some points and like were decimated. But now like the views have gone like been gone so long, they've come back and they're seeing stuff that they could never imagine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
These people are thousands of years old.
Yeah.
Ancient.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, yeah, it's pretty, just very neat. I like their relationship a lot. I wish they would kiss. I don't.
She's married. She's married.
She's married.
Okay.
I'm married.
Are you ready to move on?
You know,
All
my
right.
Sick Pearl reference.
Yeah. 62, Keeper of Forms.
Flashback. Eshonai and Venli go to the Five and say that Venli has discovered war form. They get permission, and Venli tells Eshonai she hopes to use it to help Jack Slim.
I have no notes.
I don't either. We're getting a lot of, say it with me now, straightforward chapters. Again, Venli and Eshonai, I really like that we're seeing more of them, especially Eshonai, because Eshonai's dead.
We've been known.
And we never got to see, I mean, like, I guess grand scheme of things, a lot of her.
Yeah. Not really.
But she was like such an important character in the Way of Kings, really, like Words of Radiance too.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I feel like we get like more like screen time with her here in some of these flashbacks.
Yeah. And I just love learning the history and everything. And I will say, it is like, let's see. I know Venli like has her like whole thing with like she has her own goals and ambitions and everything. Do you think she's really going to try and help? Does she want to like truly help her mother with these forms? Like still?
I don't know.
I feel like she does.
I feel like she does too.
Yeah.
Like I don't feel like Venli really knew the extent of what she was doing, to be honest.
She did not. She got manipulated.
Way. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I just think there's no way that she knew what she was like really doing.
No, not at all.
All right, chapter 63, Practice.
Kaladin awakes from a nightmare, and Syl informs him that she's been feeling more like him, explaining that since Spren can change, she thinks that she's chosen to feel how he feels. Kaladin later talks to Navani and she explains how to use the funny glove, and him and Syl go to practice.
Yeah, there's an interaction kind of immediately.
Yeah.
Like when you said like Syl says she's starting to feel different. She says, I think that we Spren have a problem. We think we don't change. You'll hear us say it sometimes. Men change, Singers change, Spren don't. We think that because pieces of us are eternal, we are as well. But pieces of humans are eternal too. If we can choose, we can change. If we can't change, then choice means nothing. I'm glad I feel this way to remind me that I haven't always felt been the same. It means that in coming here to find another Night Radiant, I was deciding, not simply doing what I was made to, but because I wanted to. And I just thought that was like a really interesting sentiment on her part. Yeah. Because like she says, like Spren are eternal and they don't change. And so for her to be like, I am making decisions, I am deciding, that shows me that I can change. That means that other Spren can change. True. And like we do see we don't get any of the Shadesmar part in here, do we?
No, not in this part at all.
God, yeah, but you see like the Honor Spren, like we saw at the end of part 2, are so stuck. Yeah. In a way that they think is right. And I mean, just most Spren are like that. And this is how we've done it. This has been tradition. This is how we've done it for thousands and thousands of years. Yeah. So why would we change? And I mean, it's right there still just debunked all of that of like, I have these feelings. I can make decisions even by just coming to you. I decided. Exactly. I think it's cool.
I think it's very cool. Right after that, I kind of saw right here. She She says, when I'm at my worst, I feel like I can't change, like I've never changed, that I've always felt this way and always will. When you get like that, let me know, all right? Maybe it will help to talk to me about it. Yeah, all right. And Cal, she said, do the same for me. He nodded and the two of them fell silent. Kaladin wanted to say more. He should have said more, but he felt so tired. Exhaustion's friends swirled in the room, though he'd slept half the day. I just like that little moment where Syl is now like, experiencing these changes.
Mm-hmm.
And now her whole thing is like, when I feel bad, it feels like I haven't changed and I've just always been this way.
Right.
Which is kind of what Kaladin feels.
Mm-hmm.
And I just like her thing of just like, hey, talk to me about it. And I'll talk to you about it. And we can work through this together. Like partners.
Yes. I do like that moment as well.
Yes.
Yeah, it's very nice.
Yes, very nice. Quite. Yes.
Do you have anything else?
Not really.
Okay.
No.
All right. Well,
He gets the funny glove.
He does get the funny glove.
I like the funny glove.
And then he crashes into the wall.
Yes. Breaks his hand.
Yeah, breaks his hand.
Yeah.
I don't know how he didn't break his nose.
Yeah. Chapter 64.
Personal reminder.
Jasnah goes to war, and when she returns, Wit tells her that the Sleepless have been spying on them.
Ugh. Hate it. There is another very cool Jasnah scene here.
Yes. Speak on it.
So when they are on the battlefield, the way her soldiers knew to pull out was if oil rained from the sky.
Mm-hmm.
And so it says the bored air accepted and formed into oil all around them. It rained from the sky in a splash and even appeared in the mouths of fighting soldiers. Her honor guard knew to withdraw at that sign, coughing and stumbling as they stepped back from the fight around her in a 10-yard circle. The enemy soldiers remained in place, cursing and coughing. Jasnah slammed her fists together, one affixed with steel, the other fixed with flint. Sparks erupted in front of her, and the entire section of the battlefield came alight.
So cool.
The magnified one stumbled in shock, and Jasnah leapt at him, forming ivory into a needle-like blade that she rammed directly into his chest. Her lunge was on target and pierced the enemy's gem heart. The fuse toppled backward, eyes burning like the fires around her. That is so cool.
Mm-hmm.
There's a whole section right before this where she has this whole thing where she talks about, like, to us specifically, like the people reading, where she talks about how she learned very early on what things in the world are willing to change shape.
Mm-hmm.
And air is one of those things. And so she changes the air to oil, and then on her gauntlets, she has flint and steel. And then she just says,
it's so sick.
That is so dope.
It is awesome.
That is a moment, like, I read this a couple days ago, and I was like, I feel like there's so many moments with Jasnah where I was like, I don't remember her being so cool.
Yeah.
Like, I always have just been like, oh my God, I love Jasnah. She's amazing. Like, that's my wife. That's my queen. Would die for her. I don't remember her being so badass.
She's dope.
She's amazing, and I love her. Anyways.
Yeah, I just had the thing marked down here with Wit, with the Sleepless and everything.
Okay, talk about that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so it's just the whole thing. He says, I failed you. I thought I'd taken all necessary precautions, but I found a pen in my writing case that did not work. So what, is this a trick, Wit? One played on me, I'm afraid. The pen was not a pen, but a creature designed to appear like a pen, a kremling, you'd call it, cleverly grown to the shape of something innocent. One of the Sleepless. How much do you think it heard? I'm uncertain. I don't know when it replaced my real pen, and I'm baffled how my protections, which are supposed to warn me of entities like this, were circumvented. Then you have to assume they know everything. All of our secrets, unfortunately. I'm writing warnings to those I communicated with. The bright side is that I don't think any of the Sleepless are working with Odium.
I believe it's time Wit said
Mm-hmm.
that I told you about Thydakar.
Oh, yes.
I know of him, Jasnah said.
Yes.
Oh, I think you do, he said. But I've met him several times on other planets, Jasnah. The Ghostbloods are not a Rosharan organization, and I don't think you appreciate the danger they present.
Oh, yeah, baby.
I don't want to say who Thydakar actually is.
You'll never know.
We will talk about it probably when we do a different book.
A different book.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say that. Oh my god, but it's so cool. Like, once you actually realize who Thydakar is, it's like mind-blowing and also makes perfect sense. Anywho, that's all I'll say.
The goat. The goat.
Ryan's goat for sure.
He's my goat.
He's Ryan's goat. All right, let's go ahead and move on. Let's move on to chapter 65 before we say something we shouldn't. 65. Oh, sorry, I didn't even say the chapter name. Hypothesis.
Oh, thank you. I had no idea what you were talking about. Navani is experimenting with light using prisms. Raboniel and another fuse come and is impressed with their progress. Navani asks Raboniel about the anti-light that she saw from Gavilar's sphere. Raboniel gives a little info, and Navani decides that this was the cause of her scholar's death. She then finds out that the other fused is Raboniel's daughter.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So Raboniel's daughter, like the fuse that's following her around, is like not conscious in their body, I would say.
No, she's
like drooling all over the place. Like, I don't think she even knows where she is half the time. And that is so sad.
Yeah.
Let's see. I did have one note here. Not about Raboniel's daughter, just in general. There are theories, Raboniel said. Matter has its opposite, negative axes that destroy positive axes when combined. This is known and confirmed by the shards Odium and Honor. So some have thought, is there a negative to light, an anti-light? I had discarded this idea. After all, I assumed that if there was an opposite to Stormlight, it would be Void Light. Except, Navani said, we have no reason to believe that Stormlight and Void Light are opposites. Tell me, what would happen if this theoretical negative light were to combine with its positive? Destruction, Raboniel said. Instantaneous annihilation. And this is when Navani realized that the opposite light was in that spear that Gavilar gave her. Or not gave her, gave Zeth.
Yeah.
Then she acquired.
Yeah.
The one that like warped the air. So she realized that is the opposite. Void Light and Stormlight, like she knows in this moment, she's like, oh, they're not opposites.
No.
And of course, Raboniel also knows this, like in theory, just because what they've been testing doesn't work. But Navani's like, oh my god, that explosion.
Well, no, she still thinks that Void Light and Stormlight are opposites.
Right. But Navani is just like, knows that explosion happened because of her wanting them to like,
yes,
experiment with it. Ooh. Anywho.
Yeah, the only note I had was on Raboniel's daughter, and I actually found it pretty sad.
Yeah, it is,
because she says, "What happened to her mother? She's right here. That was another hypothesis of mine that was disproven long ago. The thought that a mother and daughter serving together might help one another retain their sanity."
Yeah,
like you kind of feel bad for Raboniel here.
Yeah,
just a little bit. Yeah.
It doesn't feel good. Like, because she's implicating in that moment that her and her daughter working together is the reason that her daughter's like that. Like, Raboniel did that to her daughter.
No, No, she had a hypothesis that if she stayed with her, that she would not go insane.
Right.
But it didn't work.
Oh, I thought she was like using her somehow.
No.
Oh.
She's just a few, because like, there are fews that have, are crazy.
Yeah.
Because when you keep dying over and over again and keep being brought back to life, probably it's not good for your mental.
Right.
And
so her daughter has died over and over.
Yeah. Well, they all have.
Right.
But like, individuals' minds. Some are stronger than others.
Mm-hmm.
And Raboniel thought like, oh, if we stay together, if we work together, this will help her. This will help me too. But this did not help her daughter. Her daughter still lost her mind. Yeah.
Okay, I see. I interpreted that entirely differently.
Yeah.
Interesting. Still sad.
Yes.
Either way.
Mm-hmm.
Holy moly.
Holy moly.
Holy moly. Okay, sorry. Chapter 66. Bearer of Agonies.
Dalinar and Taravangian have another classic combo. Classic combo.
Is that your entire...
Yes.
Okay. So we find out that cultivation was the one that made Taravangian so smart that he made the diagram.
Mm-hmm.
He says cultivation, there's one who can face Odium because there were 3 gods. She won't fight him, Taravangian said. She knows. How do you think I found out we'd lose?
Mm-hmm.
And Dalinar says, she told you that? She said Odium would win? I asked her for the capacity to stop what was coming, Taravangian said, and she made me brilliant, Dalinar. Transcendently brilliant, but just once, for a day. I vary, you know. Some days I'm smart, but my emotions seem stunted. I don't feel anything but annoyance. Other days I'm stupid, but the tiniest bit of sentimentality sends me into tears. Most days I'm like I am today, some shade of average. Only one day of brilliance, one single day. I've often wished I'd get another, but I guess that was all cultivation wanted me to have. She wanted me to see for myself there was no way to save Roshar.
Mm-hmm.
And Dalinar tries to be like, well, nobody can see the future perfectly. Like, Odium can't even see the future perfectly. And Taravangian's like, I tried to do my best.
Yeah.
He's still convinced that nobody's going to win against Odium.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's what I got from that chapter.
Yeah.
At least that's just like what.
And I like that Taravangian is just like, you can kill me. Like, I don't have anything else to do.
Yeah, that was it.
But I want to like just be honest with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hate him.
I love him. I love to hate him.
All right. You ready to move on?
Song of Stones.
Chapter 67.
Venli practices her radiant powers and speaks with the stones. They show her images of the Dawn Singers and after finds 3 other Spren there. Kimber wants them to bond her squires, but Venli says that this is too much of a risk. I love this chapter. Mm-hmm. I love the whole idea that she's like, I'm going to practice my radiant powers. And she sinks her hands into the stone and she's like, the stone is speaking to her. The Spren of the stone is like, we want to change. We want you to shape us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of like the whole like will shaper title that she has and everything.
Yeah.
And it's just very nice. And then after all that, like she sees like the visions of the Dawn Singers and talking to the stones and everything. Other Spren show up.
Mm-hmm.
And Venli like talks to Timber and Timber's like, well, you have squires.
Right.
And you don't really think about it. It's just like, oh yeah, Venli is a radiant.
Yeah.
And
she has forgotten.
She's literally like been acquiring people against the fused and they've all been like a team and working together.
Yeah.
Of course they would be her squires.
Right.
It's just something like that kind of caught me off guard, especially during this reread, because it was always something like I guess I just didn't pay much attention to.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, like, it's just nice. And I feel like Venli is hesitant to fully join in with the Radiance because of her situation.
Yeah.
Rightfully so. Mm-hmm. But you're just waiting and waiting for her to just be like, I'm in it. I'm doing it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I have to say about that chapter.
I like it.
Yeah.
All right. Chapter 68, One Family.
One family 8 years ago. Eshonai goes into the storm with her mother and friends. The pain spren goes into Eshonai instead, and she transforms into war form. After her and her friends dissuade another family's attack, and ask them to join them.
So you asked earlier if I thought that Venli was still trying to help her mother.
Mm-hmm.
And this proves that, I think, where she took her into the storm in hopes that getting her into war form would like fix her mind.
Yeah.
Let's see.
And it went into Eshonai instead. So maybe do you think like maybe that's an indication that the Spren knew there was something up with Jack Slim?
I mean, why didn't it go into Venli then?
Because Venli didn't go out in the storm with the...
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't think she did, right?
I don't know. I do have a note right after they come out of the storm. Eshonai says, there are songs of those who first adopted work form. I believe they mention a similar experience, an outpouring of power, an amazing tone that belonged purely to cultivation. The tones of Roshar, Thud said, welcoming us home. The 12 of them gathered, and though she knew some better than others, there seemed to be an instant connection between them, a camaraderie. They took turns jumping, seeing who could get the highest, singing to joy, as silly as a bunch of children with a new toy. Eshonai hefted a rock and hurled it, then watched it soar an incredible distance. She even drew a glory spren with flowing tails and long wings. But yeah, they all talk about when they were like transforming that they heard this overwhelming noise and felt this power, and it didn't like feel good necessarily. Like it was really overwhelming. And yeah, I like the word or the sentence, the tones of Roshar welcoming us home. I was like,
it's good. And they just feel so happy.
Yeah, because they have now expanded the amount of forms they have. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have anything?
No.
All right. Chapter 69.
Nice.
Pure tones of Roshar.
Navani experiments with Stormlight and Voidlight with no luck. She talks to the sibling and recommends bonding someone not a human.
Yeah, she recommends, or is like, Relaine.
Yeah, she recommends Relaine. And
because she like,
that's not a bad idea.
No, she even says like, he's, he was Bridge 4. He's still really close with Kaladin and them. Like, I know he's like a good person.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I thought was like really, really sweet on Navani's part, where she was like, look, you need to bond somebody because like that's what's going to save you. And I know that this, I don't know. I thought it was sweet that she has at least taken notice of Relaine and been like, I know he's around good people, so he is a good person.
Yeah.
And so if you're going to bond a not human, it should be Relaine.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, and it's smart because if the sibling is like so determined, like I don't bond a human, I don't trust humans.
Why not bond who was native to the planet in the first place?
And I mean, has been wanting a spren to bond him. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a really sweet moment at the beginning of this chapter.
Oh yeah.
Dabbid he knew that something was about to happen to the sibling. They found another node. And so Dabbid takes Kaladin's spear and like goes to try to defend them.
Yeah.
And Kaladin gets up and runs after him down the hallway and is like, Dabbid, you barely know how to use a spear. And he's like strapping the gauntlet thing onto his hand, the
Which
fabrial.
chapter are you on?
Oh, am I on the wrong chapter?
You jumped ahead.
Whoopsies. LOL.
We're on 69. We haven't gotten to 70 yet.
My bad.
Fool.
Well, I'll talk about, that's the name of the chapter,
I mean, we'll
isn't
talk about it right now.
Oh, it's called Well. I don't know.
It's called Fool, right?
Obviously. I don't know how to read. Did you have anything for the rest of chapter 6? I'm so sorry. I don't know how I jumped ahead.
It's all good. I did it earlier, so.
We're just a whole...
I did it last episode.
Yeah, you did.
Whoops.
That was earlier.
For us.
Yeah.
It's late,
They
guys.
talk about the 3 tones of Roshar. I don't have any notes in this chapter, so I guess that's why I just jumped ahead.
Oh, wait. Did they talk about like where Odium might be potentially like a part of Roshar now?
Yes.
Yes.
Navani says, or this is talking to the sibling, 2 tones of Roshar, there are 3, Navani said.
Mhm.
No, there are 2. One from my mother and one from my father. The tone of Odium is an interloper. False. Could part of the reason you lost your abilities relate to that tone becoming a pure tone of Roshar? Odium truly becoming one of the 3 gods? What?
That's what I was going to talk about earlier.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go for it.
So the whole thing is like, the sibling lost. Something happened with the sibling when Ba Edo Mishram was imprisoned.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think that does have, so fully believe, right, that Odium has become a pure tone of Roshar. Ba Edo Mishram granted the singers, listeners, with forms of power.
Yeah.
They are a part of Roshar. They can hear the tones. They can hear the rhythms and everything. That creates a connection to Odium.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that gave a connection to Odium and Roshar was imprisoned. Okay. That caused a shift across Roshar.
Right.
That's what I think like happened, right?
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay.
So things are starting to make a little more sense.
Right. Okay. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Just a little more sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got a lot to think about.
Got a lot to think about. You ready to move on to 70?
You have to go on to the right chapter? Yeah, chapter 70. Well.
Kaladin wakes up and stops Dabbid from going to the node in the well. Kaladin, using the glove, does some crazy stuff, fighting Raboniel, the pursuer, and Leshwi. He manages to escape through the well and down a tunnel and finds himself outside in a high storm.
It's true. So, there's a really sweet moment where Dabbid was there's a really sweet moment where, because Kaladin won't wake up, Dabbid takes Kaladin's spear and it's gonna go fight the pursuer himself, I guess.
Yeah,
I don't know what his plans were. To protect the node, really, is what it is. Kaladin catches up to him and says, Dabbid, you barely know how to use a spear. Dabbid didn't respond, of course. He helped Kaladin strap the fabrial on and then held out the spear. Kaladin took it, then gave the bridge force salute. Dabbid returned it, then remarkably said something in a voice soft and gravelly. Life before death. Storms. Those were the first words Kaladin had ever heard from the man. He grinned, gripping Dabbid by the shoulder. Life before death, Dabbid. 4 books. And that's the first time we ever hear Dabbid speak. You tearing up over there?
Yeah.
Oh.
I teared up when this happened.
I probably would be tearing up as well right now if my adrenaline wasn't so high.
Yeah.
There was a little bit of an altercation outside my apartment. Not involving us, but...
There were big giant elephants walking down the road.
Yeah.
They were all on unicycles and it really freaked us out.
Yeah, my heart rate's really high right now.
What are they doing? They're too big and those are too small for them to be on.
It's gonna be destroyed. Anywho.
Yeah.
That's really the only note that I have.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you have anything else, because like the end of this chapter is when he goes down there and he fights them, and then he has to go through the well to get out.
Yes.
Which is crazy.
Insane.
Like he literally is like, well, this well has to come from somewhere. Yeah. And yeah, so they have to Yeah. He says the water has to come from somewhere, and so that's how he gets himself out, because the fused trap him in the well.
They like put a cover over it and everything.
Yep, and he can't move it.
Yeah, and he just has to keep on going.
Yeah.
And then
it's that or drown.
Ran into the storm.
He did. He gets outside and then there's a high storm.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
Chapter 71, Rider of Storms.
Rider of Storms. Dalinar using the Stormfather to see what the storm sees, finds Kaladin outside in the storm. Kaladin informs him what's happened, and Dalinar manages to get him inside. Afterwards, Dalinar and the Stormfather say that he should speak with a Shar to find out more about his abilities.
Yes.
Yeah.
The storm is like going over everything, and we've seen Dalinar before, like, join into these high storms. And Dalinar, like, wants to check on Urithiru. Like, that's kind of the whole reason that he went into the storm in the first place.
Yeah.
And they go past Urithiru so fast that Dalinar can't even see anything.
Mm-hmm.
And he, there's a whole interaction where, like, Dalinar says, I'm not asking you to, like, abandon Roshar. Like, I just need you to, oh my God, I forgot about that. Like, Dalinar sees some people about to get, like, destroyed by the storm wall.
Yes.
And he's like, hey, like, protect them.
Mm-hmm.
And the Stormfather is like, I can't. A large boulder crushed them as soon as we began speaking.
Mm-hmm.
And Dalinar says, how can a being so close to divinity be utterly so lacking in honor? And he says, I'm a storm. I cannot. And Dalinar says, you are not merely a storm. You are capable of choice. You hide from that. In doing so, you are a coward.
Mm-hmm.
So he literally, like, calls the Stormfather a coward.
A coward.
And then, yeah, he ends up, like, going into the storm and, like, taking control of it and going back to Urithiru.
Yes.
And, like, talks to Kaladin, and Kaladin is kind of just like, he says, like, there's a Singer invasion. Navani is captured. The tower's on lockdown. All other Radiants are unconscious. And Dalinar says, I'll find help. And he said, Radiant powers don't work except mine. He's like, I'm fighting. I'm trying. Dalinar says, life before death. And Kaladin says, life before. And then he goes limp and drops off the wall unconscious. It says, Dalinar gathered the winds and with a surge of strength used them to hurl Kaladin up and over the ledge of the balcony onto the 8th floor of the tower.
Yeah.
So, but then after that, the Stormfather is, like, pissed.
Yeah. He's like, so it's right here. You have hurt me, Dalinar. This is the second time you have done so. You push against our bond, forcing me to do things that are not right. I push you to stretch. That is always painful. Did you hear what Stormblessed told me? Yes, but he is wrong. Your powers will not work at Urithiru. It seems that they have turned the tower's protections against us. If that is true, you would need to be orders of magnitude stronger, more experienced than you are to open a perpendicularity there. You'd have to be strong enough to overwhelm the sibling. I need to say more oaths. I need to better understand what I can do. My training goes too slowly. We need to find a way to speed it up. I cannot help you. Honor is dead. He was the only one who knew what you could do. In full, he was the only one that could have trained you. And then, further on down, except, the Stormfather said, there was another bondsmith.
So there has been another previously. So that's more information we don't have. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. He says he should speak to a Shar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Chapter 72.
Outmatched.
I don't have a summary for this.
Okay.
I forgot.
Well, it's literally a page.
This is where Raboniel reveals to Navani that she's been listening to her and the siblings' conversations.
Yes.
Yes.
That's what it is. I don't have any notes.
Yeah. This was a really good part.
Yeah, part 3 is very, very good.
We're ramping up now. We're ramping up.
Getting ready for that Sanderlanch.
All the reveals. Because of things that are out of our control, I'm going to say we're going to call it right here, folks.
Yeah. We are definitely going to do that. But thank you guys so much for listening.
Thank
We really appreciate you.
you. Mm-hmm.
God, no yap sessions the last 2 episodes.
I'm sorry.
I hope you guys will survive without it.
We were going to, but there has been something going on the past 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And I don't feel comfortable recording anymore.
Yeah,
so,
we literally got through the last couple chapters just because we had to, and I think we're just gonna call it here. So, in case we need to
talk to the police
or be a helpful neighbor, we will do that. But yeah, as always, thank you guys so much. We really do appreciate you.
Mm-hmm.
We'll say all the niceties really fast, and we're just gonna go ahead and get out of here. Like, comment, subscribe, share with a friend if you have someone doing a reread. I said we really appreciate you.
Mm-hmm.
I genuinely do mean that from the bottom of my heart.
Every comment we get, like, it makes me so happy.
Yeah,
just seeing it.
We text about it all the time.
Yes, we do.
So we really, it means a lot to us that anybody cares in the first place. So we appreciate every single person that does.
Yes.
Yeah. So next time that you see us, we'll be doing part 4 of Rhythm of War. And then after that is part 5. And then Wind and Truth comes out.
Yep.
Oh my God.
All right. Goodbye. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye, guys. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.